Hey, everybody, this is R.K. Mullins, author of Time for a Serial Killer, a Lifetime of Murder. Hey, remember now, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Every Valentine needs a murder in their life, right? My mother's birthday as well. Help me honor my mother's memory. She's no longer with us. And buy my book. If you don't want to buy my book, Confessions Before Death, Satan's Revenge, coming out on February the 14th. At least think about my mother, all right, and just wish her a happy birthday. That's good enough for me, right? All right. Today we have Mr. New Tongue, just learn to talk, y'all. Miss Ntombi, and she's written a book called.
Yeah, and Keith. Now that's fun. Yes, hello everyone. My name is Ntombi Shivambo. I'm originally from South Africa, but I reside right here in UK. Oh.
Well, why don't you talk to us about your book a little bit, Ntombi? And I think you got a copy of it, so why don't you go ahead and show that thing?
Okay, so I've got a copy right here, Keith. The name of my book is called Afraid. So this is my very first book, which I published in the last 2 weeks. It's out on Amazon and it's ready to purchase on Kindle or paperback, anywhere you are. You can click and get a Prime delivery straight up to you. And now I wrote this book because it follows up on my journey on battling and surviving cancer. Now, the book doesn't only focus on that challenge of my life. It focuses on many different aspects, and you don't have to buy the book because you're battling cancer or know somebody that is, but it focuses on different aspects of life, different challenges that you may be facing. And it just goes in depth on surviving in general.
Very good. I like that. And any book about any book that is an inspirational to help uh, explain what someone went through. You know, in your case, battling cancer and other life events can help other people out there, especially those who have gone through the same thing. And there's not nearly enough books out there to help people out on this subject. And my hat goes off to you, and I applaud you for not being a survivor, but how you survive.
Thank you so much, Keith. I think when you are in the midst of the challenge, when you are going through this or any other challenge in your life, it's hard to look at the other side. It's hard to think that you'll actually survive. I think cancer is just related with death. That's what the minute you hear the C word, it's just like your word just crush. You relate cancer to death. So you don't really look at the other side, thinking maybe I will survive. But this book in general just encourages, inspire, and motivate everyone who might be going through that, or a family member that's going through that. And it just says, you know what? Yes, you can go through it, and yes, there is life after cancer. There is life after diabetes. There is life after any other challenge or illness that you may be facing.
Right. I mean, I'm type 2 diabetes. I'm sorry, people. No time we just started using it today. It'll work out right. But anyway, I'm diabetic. I'm type 2. I've been battling that, plus other things in my life. My mother, we lost her to COPD, or the complications too of that disease. So I mean, books like this is very necessary, in my opinion. And I don't think there's nearly enough of them out there, and to have the courage not only to go through what you went through, but to then turn around and write about it and relive it. Wow.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear what you said there, Keith, about diabetes. I'm sorry to hear that, but it just goes to show how many people go through several things without actually speaking up about it. I mean, when I went through this battle, I didn't actually communicate with anyone. I went through it very silently, to the point of some of my friends were actually surprised that I went through this. But it's one of those things that I actually go through every other challenge in life silently. I'm just one of those people. And this was no different. I actually went through it silently, but I know how many people are affected by cancer, whether they are going through it or know a family member or a friend that's going through it. And this book just goes out to inspire, and just let people know that there is life after cancer. Some people are so scared. I mean, it is a scary experience. That's exactly why I named the book Afraid, because that's the only word that explained how I felt, and that's the only common word that people would say. The minute you receive those news, you feel afraid, and that's why the title of the book.
Well, I mean, every time someone is diagnosed with cancer or any kind of illness such as cancer, they're automatically facing, like you said, a terminal decision, as it were. They feel like they're, no matter what the doctors say, I'm not making it through this, and that's the first thing that comes to their head. It's
Very true.
my opinion, people, my opinion only. You know me, my show, my opinion, right? I, but it's my opinion that it's not just surviving that matters. It's how you survive. And this young lady, this uh, Ntombi, has done an excellent job of surviving, but to find life afterwards and to come through it with the attitude she has, oh my Lord.
Thank you so much, Keith. And I think I've been at the hospital and I've met so many people who were going through different types of cancers. And I have never known how many different types of cancers are out there until I actually sat down and did a little research. Because when I was going through this, which I mentioned in the book as well, um, I did a lot of research and I got to know what this is. How did this happen? How can I end up in this situation? So I did a bit of research as I research about everything else, and I cannot imagine how many different cancers are out there. And so when I was at the hospital, I met so many people with different kind of situations, and it was just unbelievable because everybody else or most people would think maybe cancer will only affect the older generation, but which is not the case.
Oh, hey,
Anybody, any ethnicity.
no, I mean, it's not. This is one of those, well, all diseases mainly, but cancer is one of those ones that is non discriminative, period. It don't care what your sex, your color, religion, how much money you got, or how much you don't have, whether you're old, young, or what.
Correct.
It strikes whoever, anytime. It is a devastating.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yes, that's right, Keith. It can affect anybody, any age, and we sort of have a stigma to think maybe it can only affect the older generation, and then it's not the case. It can affect, and it's a shocker as well. It shakes your whole world, and then suddenly you would just feel like giving up. But that's why Afraid is here to say, no, I felt afraid, and I went through the battle. I went through chemo, I went through radio, I went through brachy, but I'm still here. And then on the other side, I'm still here. I'm still going on through life. I'm still happy. And it can happen not only to me, but to you as well.
Yeah, and like I said, more important, not that you're just still here, it's how you came through there with the attitude that you had. Not the, I mean, it's such a bright attitude. I mean, he's smiling and going on, and it's just, I mean, it's overwhelming just how well you came through this.
Oh, yes, it's all in the mind. The battle is here. Cancer does not attack anywhere else worse more than it attacks your mind. It eats you up in the head before anywhere else. I mean, the reality of it, the letters coming through your door, the doctor's appointment, it's all in here. I think many challenges in life, it's all a mindset. It's all in the
I have
mind.
to
And
agree.
I'm not saying, yes, correct. I'm not saying that, if you think positive, you will definitely fight cancer. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying it helps a great lot to think positively about many things in life in general. So, including cancer or any other illness, thinking positive in the first place helps a lot. And that's why I said right there, the subtitle, Fighting Cancer with Hope, Faith, and a positive mindset, because it is a very big part of it as well.
Oh, it's absolutely huge. I have to imagine. I mean, I've not been through it, and I mean, and diabetes is not nearly as devastating as cancer. You know, diabetes, we can beat it. We can beat any illness. It just takes time and research to do so. But if you let the illness beat you, then it's won. And no matter whether you live or die is irrelevant because you've done lost. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
let
Mm-hmm.
the illness beat you. You beat it, even it to the very last breath. That can do attitude, that attitude that
Yeah.
not giving up, and I'm going to live. That
Mm-hmm.
that kind of attitude, like Mr. Ntombi has, that sees you through anything. Trust me.
Yes, the can-do attitude, whether you have a business, whether you're writing a book, a fictionary, or any kind of a book, you have to have the can-do mindset. Whether you're applying for a new job, you have to have the can-do mindset. And that same also applies when you're fighting challenges or illness or anything in life. You have to have the positive mindset to the last straw. You just have to, because you give yourself no other option. Your body will respond. If you're going to be negative, your body will respond. And that's just basically it. And I've seen a couple of books as well around cancer. And someone else was saying that, cancer is basically your body's response to a bad, or perhaps a bad diet, or a bad habit, or anything else that you need to change, or you need to get rid of, or your body's just getting rid of certain things that everybody has got like different ways to look at it. And then you have people who are trying to heal it with cannabis oil. You've got the natural, you've got the keto diet, you've got so many things to look at. But I urge people to find their own truth, to find their own strength, to find their own will, and just keep going, because there's so many different things. And some of them might not work for others, and some might work for others. But this book just, it actually does go into that as well.
Right?
So it speaks about all of that stuff as well, the natural healing, which I did look at that as well. So it does mention quite a few of those in this book.
Right. And it doesn't matter where you get your inspiration to survive from. It can come from anywhere. It's how you survive. Like listen, Tommy. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say this 100 times if I say it once. Right? It's how you survive. And if you want a good example on how to survive and come through it with a really good attitude, just take a look at this young lady. I mean, that burn, smiling, going on and all through everything she's been through, when she could be just bitter as all heck, but she's not. She's trying to help others by getting her book out there
Yeah.
and everyone else. Hey, look, you don't have to go through it alone, right?
You don't have to go through it alone, and you don't have to feel alone. Matter of fact, this is the time where you actually discover you. This is the time where you actually um, discover skills about yourself that you didn't know you actually had. And after that, this is the time where you start afresh. Not exactly starting afresh as in general, but there are things that you're going to realize through this time, through this battle. You're going to have your family around. Maybe some of you might not be close with your family before, and this is the time you're actually going to realize that, yeah, my family actually are there for me when things are bad. And then some friends might not be there when you actually need them the most, but you are going to discover so many things. Not only that, you're going to see the inner you that you didn't know you have, but for you to tap into that, it's a choice. You can decide to go and lay on the sofa and say, you know what, I'm ill, I've got this virus, I've got this disease, so I'm just going to lay down here and let life take me. You've got a choice. And there is a part of the book where I go a bit, how can I put it? Because I do have sympathy on people who are ill and so on, but we have a choice. I was right there. I was in the hospital. I was going through chemo. I was going through radio. I was right there. But my choice was that I am going to win this. My mindset was that I'm going to win this. And my choice was to fight. It was not to sit and be defeated, because I could have easily said so. I had every reason, but I decided that I am going to fight this. And then another thing is, what's your reason for fighting? Because if you don't want to fight, then there's a reason. And if you want to fight, and then there's a reason for that too.
Exactly. And all of us, I mean, we need to take a lesson from her book. I guarantee you that, people. She's got it down pat. We all need to fight, not just to survive, but to live. There's more to survival than just being here on this planet and then waking up one day after the next. Living, that's the key. Finding your way to live your life and enjoy every minute of it that you have. And Miss Ntombi, it dang shows me that you've done just that.
I tried my best, Kate. Thank you so much. And I never thought I'll be sitting here holding this book, talking to you, but life brought me there. And then that 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 experience alone made me sit here and talk to you and hold this book. So there is a light at the end of every channel. If you asked me a few years back, will I ever write a book? I would say to you, maybe you're going crazy, because I wouldn't think so. But here I am. And there was something positive that came out of that. And that is exactly what the book talks about as well, because it's not only focusing on, yes, this happened and this journey was so terrible and I was so sad and all of that stuff, but it also says to you, yes, you can come out of it, and that journey is for a reason. And that reason, you might not see it then, but you will later on. You will see that, okay, this is where I needed to change for me to become this person. This is what I had to go through for me to be this person. And guess what? Help other people. Because if there's one thing that I would have loved at that time, is to hold a book like this and feel comforted and be reminded that I can fight through.
Yeah, I think that right there is amazing. That just the simple fact that you were able to write a book afterwards. Not it's not amazing to me that you came through it the way you did. I don't see that that was an option for you, but to come through it the way you did. You're just too big of a fighter. Now I do have to ask this now, and I think me and you talked about it before the show, but we got to get it out there on the air, right? Are you thinking of writing another book?
Yes, I've enjoyed writing so much that I am thinking of writing another book in the near future. Obviously, it won't be anything like Afraid, because Afraid is a biography. So, unless if I get another life and another challenge, but otherwise, I am thinking about writing other books. Which genre I'm yet to figure out, but definitely we will be talking again in the near future, Keith, and I'll be holding another book just like the way I have been with this one. And I'll be flashing it all over your face like the way I have.
Hey, what I say from the start, if you got it there, show it as often as you want to. And if you think you're showing it too much, show it some more, right?
That's right. That's right.
Before they get familiar with it. People, y'all have got to.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm not going to tell y'all you have to rush out there and buy this book, but I can tell you this much. If you know somebody who happens to be going through, any devastating illness, this book needs to be in their hands to help them find their way through the illness and not allow the illness to win by taking their spirit from them as well. And that's the one thing we can't ever lose is our fighting spirit and what makes us who we are. Miss Ntombi, it has been a great pleasure having you on this show. And one
It's
thing
an absolute pleasure. It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Keith. And happy birthday to mom.
I appreciate that. My mother will, if my mother's here, I guarantee she'd be saying thank you. And but like I said, please, please, I mean, if you know anyone out there that's going through any kind of an illness or any devastating part of their life. It doesn't have to be an illness, people. Depression is an illness too. Remember that. And depression takes as many lives these days as cancer does. It really does. If you know anyone that needs this, either they're depressed or going through a physical illness or whatever, get this for them, get it into their hands. It will help them. Trust me. You know, this lady right here is an inspiration for anyone that's been going through this. Ma'am, again, I've got to applaud you. And
Thank
whenever you get an idea that book that you're looking maybe writing, you got to talk to me.
Definitely, I will. And thank you so much for having me. Viewers, thank you so much for watching. I hope you go out and get the book. I hope that you can relate to some of the stories and you can feel inspired by some of the motivation that is included in the book. And just remember that you can fight through anything that life presents to you because you have the power within you. Don't be afraid.
There's a quote I can't even make up, y'all. Perfect. Remember, Miss Ntombi and her book Afraid, right? One beautiful lady, one beautiful spirit, and one heck of a survivor, y'all. Now I tell you, hey, this has been R.K. Mullins, author Time for a Serial Killer, a Lifetime of Murder. Remember, Confessions Before Death. Come out February the 14th, Valentine's Day. Every Valentine needs a good murder in it, right? Help me honor my mama's memory. And buy my book. You gonna buy my book? At least think about my mama. I wish her happy birthday. Again, this has been author to author and Miss Ntombi and her book Afraid. And y'all get that book. It'll help somebody. Yeah.